So it shall be done.
Okay, Brother Campbell,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna turn it over.
I really appreciate it. Let me say thanks, guys. This is wonderful. Let me just say thank you before we've done anything.
Amen.
I love when we can sit around the table and talk about basically our financial situation and our futures, because it's just an honor. Just a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Derek Campbell Sr. I've been an entrepreneur for 42 years. I was in the convenience store business for 20 years, and now I've been in the insurance and financial service business for 22 years. My affiliations have been with companies like Nationwide, companies like Prudential, New York Life, things of this nature. And in the 22 years, I've learned a few things. And I was honored to meet Mr. Bugs through this great young man right here. And I do want him to take a moment to introduce himself before I start talking. But I was honored to meet him through Miles, and we had a great conversation a week ago. And the conversation went well enough that he honored us to call you guys. And I'm very grateful, Daniel, to do this. I really am. So Miles, take a moment and introduce yourself, and then I'll start talking.
Of course. Well, my name is Miles Jenkins. I've been in the insurance business for about 1 year and 6 months. Only 24 years of age. I had the opportunity. I always say it's just I let God send me in the right direction. I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Daniel a long time ago when I was just newly in the business. I want to say my first or second week. And I was talking to him, and I felt like God was speaking through him to me, and he was giving me just words of encouragement. And at that time period, I just got only appointed with one company. I didn't have necessarily what he needed, but I knew I built a relationship. So over the years, as I continuously grown with my mentorship, my business partner, he put me in the right position to be able to touch a lot of families. I touched over 350 families just on my own pen, in the Atlanta area. And I called Mr. Daniel back and I told him, look, you'll be very proud of me. I have grown. I have an agency now. I have agents around my age that I'm able to touch and put them in the right positions. And I had the luxury of coming back to his house, and we talked. And he was very, very proud of me because he sees how much I've grown as a person. But I told him now I have information that you can really benefit from, you and your family. And that's what brings us together today. As y'all have families, and I know it's very key that you all want to make sure you leave families with not a financial burden. Generational wealth is very key for me. And that's what I love what I do, because I touch families on a daily basis, 40 families a day, and it's very important to me that I make sure that they're not left with a financial burden. So that's my story here. I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you. This young man right here is a delight to work with on a day-to-day basis. He is 24. I'm 64. So
40-year difference. 40.
But it's just a delight. Well, thank you for that, Miles. Guys, I want to talk to you today about, the pandemic, as everybody knows, is going on right now. And in my 64 years on the planet, I've never experienced anything like this. I'm sure everybody may say the same thing. But the one thing the pandemic has done for all Americans is that now we have a realization of our mortality. We have a realization of our lives. Before, many Americans would just live day to day and maybe didn't understand that. But one of the things I want everybody to understand is that taxes, we all know about taxes. And whether or not you're in retirement or whether or not you're not in retirement, we all have to pay our taxes. And so I want to talk to you today about a vehicle that's out there where you can get income tax free. Now, traditionally speaking, if I'm Miles Jenkins, I'm 24 years of age, I go to work for IBM. I got a job, work 9 to 5, I work there 40 years and I retire. What normally happens is that I'm going to enroll in their 401k plan, which I'm not knocking 401k plan, especially if they're matching. They're great plans. Or if they don't have a 401k plan, I'm going to buy a traditional RRA, or I may even buy a Roth RRA. So, and I'm going to fund these things on an annual basis, and then I'm going to get to a certain age, and then I'm going to retire. Well, you may or may not know is that when I get to that age, I've got to pay ordinary income tax on that money. Well, where it was originally set up, whereas that at age 24, my tax bracket might be at 33% or 40%. Where it's supposed to happen when Miles reaches the age of 65, his tax bracket should be under 20, 25%. It should be a lesser tax bracket so he can get some of that money. as the money grew, it grew tax deferred. So if Miles funded it for $100,000, I'm just making that number up, and it grew between a 7, 8, and 9% interest over the last 40 years, it's tax deferred. He doesn't have to pay the taxes on that money until he gets distribution of that money. That's how it normally works. But he still has to pay taxes on those dollars. He cannot get out of it. Uncle Sam's gonna get their money. So I don't care what business you're in. I don't care what you do, from selling stocks and bonds, selling real estate. It doesn't matter. Uncle Sam says, where is my money? Well, there's one vehicle out there that you can put money into and get it out tax-free. And that's called an index universal life. And it's called indexing. Now, indexing means that money is put into that bucket. The money is not invested in the market, it mirrors the market. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, is that I get the gains, but I never take any losses. Never. I'm gonna say that again because I don't want you to miss this. If I had $100,000 and I put $100,000 into this index, universal life, and it gained, I get the gains. But if 2008 happens again, everybody knows about 2008, I don't have to discuss that, do I? And the market takes a dip, which a lot of 401ks did, a lot of traditional RMAs did, I do not lose my principal. So this is the first homework assignment I want to give everybody. Go back and look at the losses in 2008 in the market on the 401ks, traditional IRAs, and the Roths.
I already know.
He already knows. Now go back and look at the losses for Index Universal Life. You're going to find the number zero. They did not take a loss at all. So if I take a loss on the market, and the biggest losses were 33 to 40% of the market, it takes 3 to 5 years, Daniel, to get that money back. Where the Index Universal Life, it took no losses. So if I had $100,000 into the Index Universal Life, it stayed there. If I had $100,000 in the 401k, it dropped 33%. So I lost $30,000 to $40,000 of my money. So now I'm at $60,000. So I need 3 to 5 years to get that money back just to go even, and then I gain. Well, I'm not saying, don't misunderstand me when I say that. I'm not knocking 401ks. I want to say that again. Because a lot of companies do what's called a match. So if Miles puts in X amount of dollars, the company puts X amount of dollars. That's free money. So I want to take advantage of that. But why would I take part of a system where I got to pay taxes on it when there's a vehicle out there where you don't have to pay any taxes on it? And that's called an Index Universal Life. So indexing is money into the market, is actually in the market, but it mirrors the market. So companies like Nationwide and New York Life, they take all your risks for you. Now, if you look at the last 20 to 30 years of these products, they've been gaining 8 to 10%. Now think about that a minute. I don't know your expertise on the market, but tell me another vehicle out there that's done that for the last 20, 30 years. You're not going to find it, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to find it. It just doesn't exist. So it's been gaining 8 to 10% over the years. So let's throw a picture back out here. I throw $100,000 into my bucket. All right? It has a death benefit. So if I die, my $100,000 immediately turns into $200,000 the first day. The cash is built at 8 to 10%. There's no negative. It has a zero floor. Now, the one thing about this product, it does cap out at 13%. This is how insurance companies make their money. So your gains can be no more than 13%. If it goes beyond that, the insurance company keeps that. Now, you can pay a 1% charge of the money that you put into to get a 20% cap. You can do that if you want to. Most people stick to 13% because that's a good return on investment. So the money that goes in is called a cost basis. I've already paid taxes on that money. As it grows tax deferred. So I don't pay any taxes on it. But here's the exciting part about it. There's a code called 7702 from the Internal Revenue Service and a code called 72E. And that code states that you can place money into a life insurance policy. It will grow tax-free and distributions can be taken out.